Blake Griffin and Andre Drummond have recently became teammates this season, as Blake was dealt to the Pistons via trade. And in my opinion, I also felt this makes Andre Drummond and Blake Griffin a very nice duo for the coming years. But like always, I'm here again with some more NBA content. If you like and enjoy NBA content, drop a damn like and hit that sub button. But anyway, let's dive into why I think these two will be a great duo in the NBA for years to come. Andre Drummond can now play into his true role of a defensive rebounding center. Now, I'm not saying that he can't score the ball or that he doesn't have a post game or whatever, but he shouldn't be the number one scoring option out there on that team. And now with the addition of Blake Griffin, this allows Blake to handle and kind of step into the role of the number one scoring option on that team. This also allows Drummond to become more of an efficient scorer, as teams now have to worry about two players versus one player, which is always a trouble for any type of defense. As well as when Blake gets double team or Drummond gets double team, this also allows Drummond to pick smarter spots and vice versa for Blake. However, Blake has played with a center like this before in DeAndre Jordan. However, Drummond is a better version. Now, that debate is open for question, but Drummond is 6 years younger and a little worse on defense, but has a better overall game. And if I'm taking a player, I would probably take Andre Drummond. That's just me, because I have my reasons for it. Like, Andre Drummond is younger. I feel like he has way more potential than DeAndre Jordan and has a much bigger role on the team. So questions about him having to adjust his whole game, as in Blake Griffin, to play with Drummond, are completely flawed. And the only thing he's going to have to adjust, but as in talking about Blake Griffin, is the team's offense, which only in one game he played, he already had a 24 points and a 10 night. So it's looking like he's adjusting pretty fast. And again, that plays into the point of that Blake Griffin was already playing with DeAndre Jordan, so it's not really going to take him that long to adjust into an offense like this. I know the offense is different, but you're still playing with the guy who kind of plays in the same way and kind of the same sense. However, both players do complement each other very, very well. Blake Griffin spaces the floor to an extent, tremendous pinch post player, is very unselfish, and most importantly can create his shot like a star talent. Now, when you just had Drummond alone, who was already more of a defensive, rebounding type center, like I said above, again, not saying he can't score or has a post game, just how he plays and his most effectiveness are those two things, as in rebounding and playing defense. He would have to take the number one option role more often than not. Again, you can argue Tobias was the number one option, but you kind of get my point. But now that Blake has been added to the team, it eases so many things up in the Pistons offense, because now Andre can mostly focus on his D, and rebounding, whereas Blake can pick up the rest of the offense as he becomes the number one scoring option of the team. On top of all that, like I said before, Drummond is 6 years younger than DeAndre Jordan, and Blake is still 28. So they still have room to grow, and they also seem like they're making a good friendship, so that chemistry that you need for any NBA team is already building. So with that being said, I know this is a little short video. I just wanted to highlight that, I do feel like these two players can have a very good future to come. And I know a lot of people are going to sit there and say, what about the Pelicans? What about Anthony Davis and Boogie Cousins? I have reasons for that. One of the reasons being is that they're in the West. So right at the bat, they're already in a harder conference. Yes, they're the two best big men in the league. But you got to remember, those two big men, they never played with another good big man on the team before. Like, Anthony Davis, he hasn't played with a good big man before, even if that big man was only a defensive player. Same with Boogie Cousins, he's never played with a forward like that before. So when you have the best two big men in the league coming together, it's going to be much more different, because those are two really all-star talents. It's like having Kobe and LeBron in a sense on the same team. Obviously, it'd work out differently, but you kind of see what I'm saying. Especially in a harder conference as well, whereas you have two guys that can play off each other more better. Not saying Blake and Drummond are better than those two. They can just play off each other better than I feel like Anthony Davis and Marcus Cousins can. Yes, they put up more stats and whatnot, but in terms of chemistry, it makes more sense for, like, in terms of play style. That, and on top of that, Detroit's in the East, and the East is still kind of weak right now. But I'm probably going to end it there. But before that, all they need to do, Detroit Pistons, they just got to find talent for the bench, as well as some shooters, because both Blake and Drummond are unselfish and underrated passers, and I never see that being highlighted. But Blake Griffin is a very underrated passer, and so is Andre Drummond. If you watch Piston games, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But I'm probably going to end it right there. So what do y'all think about Blake and Drummond? Tell me down in the comment section below, and always have a blessed day. I'm out.